Chapter 1. Mamba Mentality meets Marcus Aurelius. Kobe Bryant was many things: a basketball legend, a father, an entrepreneur, a storyteller. But above all, Kobe was a man of relentless discipline, the kind that didn't just shape his career, it shaped his identity. Most people remember the championships, the 81-point game, the buzzer beaters. But what made Kobe iconic wasn't talent. It wasn't even greatness. It was his mentality, what the world now calls the Mamba Mentality. But here's the truth most don't realize. Mamba Mentality was Stoicism in motion. Kobe embodied the ancient virtues the Stoics preached 2,000 years ago: discipline, focus, endurance, self-mastery. He wasn't just playing basketball, he was practicing a philosophy without ever needing to quote Marcus Aurelius to do it. Stoicism teaches us that we don't control outcomes, only our effort. Kobe lived that. Stoicism teaches us to train our emotions, not be ruled by them. Kobe lived that. Stoicism teaches us to show up every single day, regardless of circumstance, because excellence is in the repetition. And Kobe showed up. So in this episode, we're going to break it down, chapter by chapter. Not just the legend of Kobe Bryant, but the Stoic blueprint he followed, often unknowingly. We'll explore how his life mirrored the ancient wisdom of Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, and how you can apply that same mindset to your own life, even if you've never dribbled a basketball. Because this isn't about sports, it's about discipline. It's about how to pursue greatness without losing yourself, how to become a master of your craft and of your mind. So before we dive into the lessons, here are 3 questions to reflect on as you listen. What does discipline look like in your life? Not in theory, but in practice. Do your habits serve your goals or sabotage them? Who could you become if you trained like your life depended on it? Because the truth is, it does, not in a dramatic way, but in a meaningful one. Your life becomes the sum of your training, your habits, your effort, your response to adversity. And Kobe Bryant lived like he knew that. So let's step onto the court, not the hardwood floor of the Staples Center, but the inner court of the Stoic mind. Let's examine how Kobe's life embodied a philosophy that has guided warriors, emperors, artists, and now you. Ready? Chapter 2. Relentless Preparation. Training the mind and body discipline doesn't begin with the game. It begins with the preparation. And for Kobe Bryant, preparation was sacred. His 4 a.m. workouts became legendary. While most were sleeping, or maybe just thinking about getting better, Kobe was sweating, dripping, grinding, and he wasn't doing it for applause. He was doing it because discipline doesn't demand an audience. That's Stoic. Marcus Aurelius said, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." Kobe didn't train for recognition. He trained because it was the right thing, the necessary thing, to honor the craft, to build the edge, to master himself before mastering the opponent. Let's be real. Most people don't want discipline. They want results. But Kobe didn't chase results. He chased rituals. He fell in love with the process. He once said, "Rest at the end, not in the middle." That's not just a motivational quote. That's Stoic philosophy in action. Let me tell you a story. During the 2008 Olympics, Team USA's strength and conditioning coach, Tim Grover, shared a moment that still stuns people. The team had arrived in Las Vegas for training camp. Kobe had just flown in from a game in the finals, jet-lagged, tired, late night. At 4:15 a.m., Grover's phone rang. It was Kobe. He wanted to get some conditioning in. Grover thought, sure, he'll shoot around for 30 minutes. When he arrived, Kobe was already drenched in sweat, not starting, not stretching, already halfway through his workout. And later that same day, Kobe still did the full team practice, as if the morning session never happened. That's not just hard work, that's mental training. Because for Kobe, showing up wasn't optional. It was identity. Epictetus said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best of yourself?" Kobe didn't wait. He demanded it daily. That's Stoicism. He trained not just the body, but the mind. And that's something most people miss. You can lift weights, run hills, but if your mind isn't disciplined, the body will quit when things get hard. Kobe practiced mindfulness before mindfulness was trendy. He visualized games in advance. He studied his opponents with surgical detail. He once said he'd watch an entire game just to analyze a player's footwork. Not their highlights, but their fundamentals. That's Stoic repetition. Boring to the world, brilliant to the master. So what can we take from this? Let me give you a Stoic practice plan for discipline, inspired by Kobe. Daily Stoic discipline practice. Define your craft. What is your arena? Where does your excellence live? Define it. Build the ritual, not the outcome. Create a daily habit that honors your craft, even when you don't feel like it. Schedule time with your mind, not just your body. Use journaling, silence, or visualization to train your thinking. Do it when no one's watching. That's how you know it's real. That's how discipline becomes identity. Track fundamentals, not flashes. Don't wait for highlights. Focus on the details that no one applauds, because they're what build greatness. Kobe said, "I don't want to be the next Michael Jordan. I only want to be Kobe Bryant." And yet, what made Kobe Kobe wasn't the scoring. It was the unseen hours, the discipline, the obsession with showing up better than yesterday. That's what the Stoics would call excellence in accordance with nature. Not perfection, but becoming the best version of your design. So ask yourself, are you training for applause or training for mastery? Do your habits reflect who you want to become or who you've always been? What would change if your preparation became sacred? Kobe knew, and he acted on it. Chapter 3. Embracing pain, failure, and adversity. The Stoic resilience of a champion. Discipline isn't tested when things are going well. It's tested when everything is falling apart. Kobe Bryant didn't just embody discipline when he was winning. He embodied it in loss, injury, criticism, and failure. And that's where Stoicism and Mamba Mentality intersect at their core. Because both teach this, you cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. One of the most powerful examples of this happened in 2013, when Kobe tore his Achilles tendon. If you know anything about basketball, you know this injury is brutal. It ends careers, it crushes spirits, it breaks men. But Kobe didn't collapse. He stood up, walked to the free throw line, and drilled 2 free throws with a torn Achilles before walking off the court under his own power. That's not just physical toughness. That's Stoic control. That's a man who trained his mind not to panic, not to react, but to respond. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Kobe lived that. He didn't see the injury as the end. He saw it as the next battle. In a Facebook post the next day, yes, Kobe wrote a full post while in a walking boot. He said, "Now I'm supposed to come back from this and be the same player or better at 35. How the hell am I supposed to do that? I have no clue. Do I have the consistent will to overcome this thing? Maybe I should break out the rocking chair and reminisce on the career that was. Maybe this is how my book ends. Maybe not." And then he got to work. That's Stoicism. Not toxic positivity, not delusion. Radical acceptance, followed by decisive action. Because Stoic resilience isn't about being unbreakable, it's about choosing to rebuild. Every time life breaks you. Let's rewind even further. To one of the hardest years of Kobe's career, the 2004 NBA Finals. The Lakers were stacked. Kobe, Shaq, Gary Payton, Karl Malone. They were supposed to dominate. Instead, they lost in 5 games to the underdog Detroit Pistons. Kobe was crushed. The media piled on. He was labeled selfish, uncoachable, broken. Did he lash out? He went back to the gym. He rewired his game. He studied, trained, and transformed into an even more complete player, leading to back-to-back championships in 2009 and 2010. That's the Stoic mindset. Turn failure into fuel. Turn criticism into clarity. Turn pain into power. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Kobe didn't avoid difficulty. He sought it out. He invited adversity because he understood it was the grindstone that sharpened his edge. You don't become unshakable by avoiding the storm. You become unshakable by standing inside it and refusing to fall. Here's something to reflect on. Stoic, reframe questions for adversity. What if your failure is your forge? What if this challenge isn't happening to you, but for you? What would the most disciplined version of you do in this exact moment? It's easy to believe you're disciplined when the plan is working. But what about when it's not? When the results don't match the effort? When the world doubts you? When your body betrays you? That's when the real Stoic shows up. And Kobe showed up. So ask yourself, where in your life are you treating adversity like a stop sign instead of a starting point? What pain are you carrying that could become power if you chose to respond with discipline instead of despair? Who would you be if nothing could make you quit? Because that version of you is waiting. And that version of Kobe, the one who walked off the court with a torn Achilles, proved it's possible. Chapter 4. Detachment from outcome. Winning the inner game. The scoreboard can lie. Trophies fade. The world's applause is loud and temporary. But discipline? That stays with you. And that's why Kobe didn't just chase victory. He chased mastery. In Stoicism, this is the idea of detachment from outcomes. Doing the work for the sake of the work, not the reward. Epictetus said it plainly. Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will flow smoothly. Kobe understood this in a way that most athletes, and most people, never truly grasp. He didn't play to win only. He played to become something, to refine something inside himself. That's why he was in the gym hours before games. That's why he stayed after losses and shot hundreds more jumpers. That's why, after scoring 60 points in his final game, he still said, "There's more I could have done." It wasn't about ego. It was about evolution. Let's revisit that final game, April 13th, 2016. Kobe dropped 60 points at 37 years old after 2 decades in the NBA, on a body stitched together by surgeries and pain. And what did he do after the game? He didn't cry about his stats. He didn't bask in legacy. He told his teammates, "Those times when you get up early and you work hard. Those times when you stay up late and you work hard. Those times when you don't feel like working. You're too tired. You don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That is actually the dream. Not the championship. Not the fame. The work. That's the Stoic spirit." In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The fruit of this life is good character and acts for the common good." Kobe wasn't always perfect. He wasn't always kind, but he cared deeply about honoring the process. And that's what detachment from outcome really is, loving the process more than the praise. In a society obsessed with results, Kobe stood for something rare: consistency, work, representatives, excellence, whether the crowd showed up or not. Let me give you a fictional but relatable story to drive this home. Meet Jordan, a 32-year-old startup founder. Every day, he grinds. He posts on social media. He tries to land clients, but when no one engages, when the views are low, he feels defeated. He spirals. Then one day, he stumbles across a clip of Kobe saying, "It's not the number of people watching that matters. It's the number of hours you put in when no one's watching that defines you." And that changes everything for Jordan. He starts showing up differently. He stops measuring success by likes and followers. He starts measuring it by the depth of his work. That's detachment. That's Stoicism. And if you're watching this video right now, you know this lesson too well. You've tried. You've failed. You've worked your ass off and seen no reward. But here's what Kobe and the Stoics would tell you. Keep going. Because the process is the point. And you're not here to impress. You're here to become. Stoic application. Train for mastery, not metrics audit your motivations. Are you doing it for attention or for alignment? Create a scoreless practice. Set aside 30 to 60 minutes per day to improve your craft without checking numbers, likes, sales, or validation. Reflect weekly, not emotionally. Build a system for reviewing your work based on effort and clarity, not on emotional highs and lows. Honor the work. Write it on a note, on your wall, on your mirror. I honor the work, not the outcome. So ask yourself now, am I working to be seen or to be shaped? Do I love the reward more than I love the ritual? Would I still show up if no one ever clapped? Because here's the paradox. When you stop chasing the outcome, you start becoming the kind of person who achieves it, just like Kobe did. Chapter 5. Legacy through leadership, from competitor to mentor. There was a time when Kobe Bryant was known purely as a competitor, fierce, obsessive, relentless, someone who would do anything to win. But in his later years, both on and off the court, Kobe became something even more powerful, a mentor, a teacher, a man deeply committed to legacy through leadership. And this transformation wasn't accidental. It was the natural result of a life spent in discipline, in reflection, in pursuit of something greater than personal glory. This is where Stoicism reaches its highest form. Because for the Stoics, the purpose of wisdom wasn't to elevate the self, it was to serve others, to be a better father, a better citizen, a better example. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." Kobe embodied this in his final years. He started coaching his daughter Gianna's basketball team, not with ego, but with care. He wrote children's books rooted in imagination and discipline. He founded Granity Studios to inspire the next generation through storytelling. He lifted up women's sports, mentored younger players, and opened doors for kids around the world. He used his platform not to boast, but to build that Stoic legacy, not what you leave behind in your bank account, but what you leave behind in people. Let's look at an example. Kyrie Irving once called Kobe at 3 a.m. not to talk basketball, but to ask about mindset, about leadership, about pressure. And Kobe answered. He always answered. That's what happens when discipline becomes generosity, when your excellence overflows into others. And make no mistake, it took Kobe time to grow into that leader. In his early years, he was intense, sometimes too intense. He clashed with teammates, demanded perfection. He once admitted that during practice, he'd purposely not pass the ball to players who didn't train hard enough. But over time, something shifted. Kobe began to see that leadership wasn't about dominance, it was about elevation. Seneca wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." And that's who Kobe became. He mentored Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He'd invite them to workouts, break down their film, teach them how to train their mind, not just their body. And in those moments, Kobe wasn't chasing wins. He was passing the torch. Because real discipline doesn't end with you, it multiplies. Let me tell you a fictional story that reflects this. Samantha is a 28-year-old fitness coach. She trains daily, eats clean, studies physiology like it's scripture. But for years, it was all for her. Her image, her confidence, her validation. Until one day, a client confesses that they've been struggling with depression, and her quiet encouragement was the only thing keeping them consistent. Samantha suddenly sees her discipline differently, not as a badge, but as a bridge. And from that moment on, she starts teaching with more heart, mentoring, leading, building legacy, not in records, but in people. That's the Stoic path, and that's what Kobe chose. Stoic leadership practice reflect on influence. Who watches you without you even realizing it? What example are you setting in silence? Mentor 1. You don't need a stage. Just find one person to uplift with your knowledge, your time, or your belief. Lead with questions. Instead of commanding, start asking, how can I help you grow? What's holding you back? Transfer the tools. Don't hoard wisdom. Teach it. Pass it down. Let your discipline become someone else's freedom. Kobe once said, the most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do. That's not the voice of a competitor. That's the voice of a Stoic, a builder, a guide. So ask yourself, where can your excellence serve more than just your ego? Who could you mentor, even in small, quiet ways? What will your legacy be, applause, or impact? Because your greatest achievement won't be what you did for yourself. It will be what you helped unlock in others. Kobe knew that, and so did every Stoic who came before him. Chapter 6. Final reflection. The Mamba within you. By now, you see it clearly. Kobe Bryant wasn't just a basketball player. He was a philosopher in motion, a stoic spirit in sneakers, a modern-day warrior who understood what the ancients preached, that greatness is not a moment, but a mindset. His life wasn't perfect. It was painful, flawed, complex. But so is every Stoic journey. The Stoics never claimed to be without emotion. They claimed mastery over how they responded to it. Kobe responded with discipline, with resilience, with purpose. He once said, "Everything negative, pressure, challenges, is all an opportunity for me to rise." Sound familiar? That could have come straight from the mouth of Epictetus. Let's zoom out one final time. You might not be a world-class athlete. You might not shoot free throws in front of millions. You might not have a statue waiting for you in the rafters. But you have something Kobe cherished more than any championship ring. You have the choice to train your mind, to build your discipline, to chase your greatness, quietly, fiercely, unapologetically. Every day you wake up, you face the same question Kobe asked himself. Who am I becoming? Not, what did I do yesterday? Not, what do people think of me? But, am I showing up today like someone who respects their own potential? That is the Stoic path, and it's wide open in front of you. You don't need talent to walk it. You need commitment, repetition, courage. You need the discipline to rise when it's easier to sleep, train when no one's watching, stay grounded when life screams for your attention, lead when you're still learning, and endure when everything in you wants to quit. Kobe gave us a model, not of perfection, but of practice, not of fame, but of focus. And now the question becomes, what will you do with it? Final Stoic self-reflection. What area of your life needs Mamba-level discipline? Where have you made comfort more important than commitment? How would your life change if you began honoring the process instead of worshipping the outcome? Daily Mamba mindset routine, inspired by Stoicism. Wake with intention. Journal or meditate on one value you want to embody today. Discipline, courage, focus, etc. Honor the craft. Spend 1 hour every day working on your personal court, the thing that builds your excellence. Embrace friction. Do one thing daily that makes you uncomfortable by design. The early wake-up, the hard conversation, the quiet hour of work. Reflect with integrity. At day's end, ask yourself, did I train like my future depends on it? Lead with legacy. Find one person to encourage, teach, or uplift, and pass the torch forward. Your Mamba is already within you. Your Stoic is already alive. They are waiting, not for applause, not for clarity, but for action. So rise, train, building, and live like Kobe did, with unshakable discipline in a world that constantly tempts you to break. Because in the end, the rings, the records, the accolades, they fade. But the way you show up for yourself, that stays. You are not here to coast. You are here to rise, again and again and again. So go, and don't rest. Not until the end.